twin turbo.
Today we're here to check out a very cool shed. Think Lamborghini, think HSV, think Aston Martin, think Buick, Bentley, you name it, it's in this shed. And what's behind the shed is a very cool workshop with some cool builds going on. Every car in this shed, there's a reason why it's here. We're going to get the info on that. It has something to do with numbers, so stay tuned. We are here in Canberra. We're here to meet Darrell and his wonderful collection of around 30. We're just doing the math then, around 30 something cars.
We haven't added up properly, but it'll be somewhere like that.
Fair play. Everything from classic, hot rod,
cruisers, gangster cars, some muscle cars in there for bits, and some supercars.
Some supercars, and some road that could be race cars as well.
Yeah, all sorts of little, and even a car that's won Summernats.
That's what probably
people most know me, would know me, my car would know boosted. That's the probably car that started it all.
I guess that started the part where you really put yourself out there as a car enthusiast to the world, where traveling around in shows is probably going to do that, especially when you win as many trophies as you have.
Well, it was something that, it's not the car that everybody would have, but it's something, my dad bought it new and it was just something that evolved. I always loved cars. My dad was into cars, and particularly cars and number plates. It was always something that he loved and had a passion for, and I just caught the bug off him, so yeah. And that car he had, and then he used it for work, and then I used it for work, and then off it went. I
love that story. I love that it was your dad's work car, and then he sort of went, you know what, I'm going to take that and start putting a grinder to it.
Yeah.
Going to start changing it, do a few things, and then I'm going to make a show car and win pretty much every trophy there is to win. With the car.
And we did. We didn't take it to many shows. It probably went to 15 all up, and it won everything already straight. So, which was pretty good. It was pretty. I didn't do it to win the plastic, because you could buy the plastic a lot cheaper than you would then. But it was something that you achieve. You know what I mean? That you put your blood, sweat, and literally your blood into, and because you bled for that sort of stuff, knuckles, arms, and I still got scars on my arms from where things are
working on cars.
Yeah. So it was good to see. So and that sort of started me into everything. While that was being built, that's when I bought a number plate, and that's what sort of started everything. I bought a number plate. Which is actually
why we're standing at the front here, and we're sort of going to follow a little bit of a map when you follow us around of the cars, and this is the one that really...
You call it a map, I call it craziness. It's the same. It's the same thing. It's really the same thing. So this car was bought to suit a number plate. So I went round to a guy's house, and I was buying a Bowser off him, an old Bowser. It's around the corner there. And he had his car. He had a Buick with the number plate 57, ACT plate 57, and I've always been in the plate. My dad was, and so he had that, and I thought, I'll buy it if you sell the plate and the car. And he goes, "No, I never sell them the plate." I said, "Oh, okay, no worries." Anyway, I bought the Bowser, did the deal, and it wouldn't have been 2 years later. He rang me up and said, "Oh, there's no need for that plate." I said, "Oh." He said a number, and I bought it.
57, yeah.
57. So I bought that plate, and I loved what he did with it. He had it on a 57 Buick, and I'd since seen that somewhere else, so he'd sold that obviously. I thought, I'll go buy a 57 car because I liked that. So that's where this one came in. And a lot of the stuff, and like anybody's shed, everything comes with a story. So this particular car, I want something a bit more unique, and this car, so I couldn't find anything. So I went through back catalogues of back in the day, before the internet. I went through back catalogues of just cars. I saw this car, and then it wasn't in any other magazine, so I thought I might ring this guy, see, because you will know someone, he was in clubs and stuff, So I ring him, and he goes, and I said, particularly asked him, I said, that was a cool car, and do you know anybody else with a car like that? And he goes, no, I don't know anyone with a car like that. But he goes, but I still got that one. I'm like, oh, really? He goes, yeah, I just forgot to put it back in the magazine and everything. And one thing led to another, and that's how this car came about. So this was really the original car. I had boosted, and I was still working on it. It was half built. This was the first car in my, if you want to call it a collection, or my madness, whatever you want to call it. So this was the first one. So
roughly around about 20 years ago.
22 years ago, I think we worked out. So it's a 57 Hudson Hornet, original one of 13 delivered to Australia. So, and this is how I bought the car. This is exactly how it came. I haven't changed anything, because I think sometimes when you inherit a car like that, you just keep the car. Other cars that have been done up, but I kind of like it. It's a survivor. You can park it anywhere, windows down, nobody touches it.
It looks very cool, like you just want to jump in and cruise it.
Just cruise, that's what it does. It goes to Summernats just about every year. It does a city cruise. We load a whole heap of people in it, and we go wherever we want. We go to dinner, whatever. But this is a really cool car just to cruise around. It's some people will spend a heap of time and money trying to get that effect. on their car. You know what I
This is
mean?
El Natural.
This is El Natural. It's just how it's aged gracefully. Yeah. It stays tucked away now, and so it doesn't age anymore. But I kind of like that. So.
As one to kick off, did you drive it a lot?
Yeah.
Back then?
Yeah, always. And still, this is probably, I would say this is the most driven car still in my collection, because around the Summernats time, it just goes everywhere. We just take it everywhere. It's got a cracked header in it at the moment. They've got to fix before this Summernats, because it does. Yeah, this one really does get driven, probably the most out of everything in the collection, because I don't know whether it's the first car or whatever, but it just is a good car for that type of thing. So it goes into Braddon and just fits in. It'll fit in anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it fits in anywhere. So yeah.
So the numbers thing, what's next what was next?
So the one after this, my old man always used to kick around in HRs, and particularly Premier. So this was the second car I ever bought. So similar time, 20 odd years ago.
Yep.
It's a HR Premier. Had to be a Premier because that's what he mucked around with. He's since bought the actual car that he had back then. It's the brown, metallic brown with an ivory roof.
Yep.
So, but this one was bought. This came from a guy in a potato factory. He had two of them. This has still got 29,000 original miles. This is exactly how I inherited it, except it had about, I don't know, 1 centimetre of potato dust over the whole car.
Keeping it, preserving it.
Yeah, it was fairly well. But you sort of washed it. It went from that and a bit of steel wool on the chrome bits, and it went from that to this like that.
Yeah, wow.
Just like in an hour.
It is a survivor car.
It is very cool.
So like, if you told me it was restored, I'd believe you.
If you stick your head in there, it smells like it should smell.
Oh, wow.
It's exactly like, I don't think the back seats have ever been sat in.
Oh, this is taking me back to,
it doesn't it?
Being a kid.
And that's what's cool about it. Everything is exactly how it should be. It's got the car parked in, it's got little marks in it and everything, but...
If you could bottle that smell, you'd make $1 million, I'll tell you that much.
You'd make a few, but I don't think there's so many people like that smell, but there's... yeah, so... And
I'd buy all the...
It's a really cool cruiser.
Yep.
It's just an auto, arm out the window. It's a bit like a boat, so you're only in your lane when you're crossing over to get back to it.
So great.
You know, a bit shaky, but it's a really cool car. And this one came particularly because of my dad.
I just love the interior as well.
It's just absolutely everything works on it. The interior light, everything, the handbrake, everything just works on it, which is really, really cool.
People spend a lot of money now to get seats designed like this, and get done and retrimmed and stuff.
It's really cool. So again, very cool car, just an easy car to drive, easy car to fit. There's nothing goes wrong with them.
Yeah.
It's nothing goes wrong.
It is
with
a
them.
lovely car.
They're just so cool. So.
The HR Premier was always a nice car,
Yeah. Everyone loved the EHs, but my old man was always in the HRs, and that's why this,
And the sound it makes when it shuts.
The seatbelt bolted through the pillar.
It's
just ridiculous, isn't it?
First,
to think that back in the day, but that's how it was, And just everything about it is just cool, you know what I mean?
And in terms of the numbers, though, this is another number.
So what happened now is this was the second car, and then I thought a 50s car and a 60s car. I thought, that'd be really cool if you had a 50s car, 60s car, 70, yeah. So then you can see the snowball effect starting to happen. So this was the 60s car. I thought, geez, it'd be cool because you can see the difference between a 50s car and a 60s car. We've just gone there.
Yep.
So then if you had a car for every 10 years, it would be really cool. And then what got me thinking, this is a 66. So it's not a 67, but I thought, I wonder if you could get, my dad's is a 67. So we do within our collection have a 67. I don't have one personally. So I wonder if you could get a 57, 67. And it's harder than you think sometimes because there was wars and there was all sorts of things that went on in different periods of time. So, and from the 19th century, the Henry Ford, the mass-produced car, that's a sort of era that I'd like to concentrate on, which is now 130 odd years, so from 1900. So I went and said about it. So within the collection now you have a 1917. I'd love a 1907, just haven't quite found the right car for me. Yep. I got a 1917, 27, 37, 47, and we'll have a look at them today. So all the way through to
almost 67.
Almost 67. It is a late 66 car, but I
probably sold in the lot in 67.
They were. My original thing, my original idea was if it got sold in that time frame, if they were made from 65 to 67, it could fit in. But then I thought about it more, and it'd be cool to have just a 7. So that's what happened. And then there's other cars that are in there just because they were accidents. Purely accidents, sometimes when you're bid,
not part of the number.
Not part of the numbers. They generally were something cool, or they matched something else, or they were just something that had something cool about it. Every car has something cool about them, For me, it does, you know what I mean? And I like that type of thing. So so we'll go over here. This car was bought, again, in numbers, so it's always usually got something to do with numbers, but this is my birth year car.
Okay.
So this is a 76.
Yep.
And my first ever car, and one of the only cars I ever sold, was a HZ Premier. So I had HZ Premier, and that was my thing, the old man, the HR Premier, so he got me into cars, obviously. So mine was a Premier, and when he went to find it for me, it had to be a Premier. It couldn't be anything else. It had to be a
My
Premier. So
grandfather
back then,
only drove Premiers, yeah.
yeah, so that's
That
the
was
way
the
it was. So a HZ Premier. So this is not a HZ Premier, obviously, because I didn't do HZs in 76. So I bought this one because it's the same shape. It's a Premier, but it's my birth year, so it's a 76. I'd love to do something cool with this car later on. It's just here gathering dust at the moment, but maybe one day it might have a blower out the bonnet or something like that.
We might see it at Summernats.
Blown car, yeah, just like the black
fun.
blower hat hanging out the bonnet, and just so that's what this one's for. But again, a numbers car, doesn't fit in with the 7s, but it's my birth year, so
it's a great place to even hang out. Like so many cool car nostalgic things, like the pumps and things like that. We're not even inside the shed yet.
No. I love and everything again, from the old stuff to new stuff and everything in between.
And all this doesn't happen by accident. This is years and years and years of one piece at a time. And then is that right?
Yep. Just sometimes it's 10 pieces, and sometimes it's just one little tin. It might be a little tiny tin
that you'll drive 5 hours to go pick up or something. Or who knows?
Moama was the last one. That's, I don't know, me and my son went to Moama and picked up a truck full of stuff, you know what I mean? So that's 7 hours away. So, but my old man bought some oilers and stuff from overseas. You just go to an antique store and you'd come home with one from Europe.
It creates the atmosphere though, right? All this
from
stuff.
Europe, there's one oiler. You know what I mean? So there's just little things like that that's just cool. And other stuff and there's other cool stuff that just comes with the car, like the spare parts. You put that on a shelf. You put an old carby on the shelf nowadays, or something like that, an old filter that's got the actual Holden symbol on it instead of Ryco.
Yeah.
They used to have a Holden symbol on it, you know. So there's all little things like that I love, you know what I mean, to do with cars. So
I see a lovely golden Commodore, but we might touch on this Bentley, you reckon?
Well, the Bentley, again, it's a 57 as well. It just gives you the... I just thought this car was meant to be LS'd and dumped and everything, but when I got it home, because I bought it sight unseen, it was too good and it's too cool, and you just get in it. It's another one. It's the same as these, where you stick your arm out the window and you just drive, and people give you the thumbs
just
up
leave
when
it,
you drive past. Yeah, so it's probably going to be left now. I thought it would be really It
looks like a really, you want to go for lunch, say, nice town car.
Yeah,
cruising to town.
So if you want to shoot shit up, this is your gangster. You want to do it in a rich kind of fashion. This would be it. Poor fashion, you go on Hudson. Gangster cars.
I've got to say though, V8. This is also obviously 6-cylinder.
6-cylinder, yeah.
Yeah. V8. This must sound good.
They do, yeah. That just cruises. It just sounds okay. The Hudson 327. They made their own 327, so it's just a nice.
Not about horsepower, all about just.
This one isn't.
A bit of torque to move it along, and that's about it.
No, I think the new Kia would go better than that. An old Kia would go better than that. It's not that, but that's not the point, is it?
No,
it's not the point. It's how cool you look doing it.
That's right.
And this looks cooler than a Kia. So.
An SV99.
So this is one of those cars which is a unique car, and it was bought for no other reason than I just think it's one of the best cars I ever did. The colour, the wheels, the trim, the engine. So this is the first alloy bow tie, it's that they put in it.
Yep.
It sounds cool. The Chevy V8 just has a nice tone to it. It's different. I've got a Windsor, I've got a 308, I've got, and this has a really, really nice sound. So probably just that nice Chevy sound. But I think this is one of the best finished off cars. You talk about the older cars.
The wow factor was huge on this car.
I think so, yeah.
The champagne style wheels, and then
they did the whole lot really well. Some of them they didn't do so well, I thought, back in this era. You know what I mean? And a very limited number car, obviously. They didn't make too many of them, so which is always something that I look
Coulson seats.
for.
The trim is a
The trim is cool, and this one again. Some cars are manual, some cars are auto, and everybody's like, I only do manuals in this, and that doesn't suit us. Auto, manual, this one's and this one's just a really nice cruiser. The guy that I bought it from, again, he'd lowered it, he put a ramjet, and I've got all the bits and pieces to change it back if I wanted to standard. But this again is how I inherited it. So it's the lowest car I have.
The way it is now is a vibe.
It is. It's the era, you know what I mean, of what you would have done to that car when you bought it. Nobody would do that to this car now because they're worth too much money. But back in the day, they weren't. And this is what you would do to do it. It's no different to having spats on this car or Venetian in this car. That was the modification. So I don't see myself ever changing it. I love that car. It's very tidy. It just is a cruiser. Very, very clean and tidy cruiser. Very easy to drive.
I see a few other Holdens here.
There's a few other Holdens here, yeah. And I'm not brand specific, but there's probably the most I have in one brand is a Holden with the HR and a couple of HSVs that I've got in here. And obviously,
you sit in the Holden camp more than the Ford camp?
I don't fit in any camp though. I don't think I really do. You know what I mean? I love them all. So as long as they're cool, and I don't begrudge someone that has all Holdens or all Fords or anything. It's just the camp that I've fallen into. It doesn't really worry me what I have, as long as like I was saying before, every man's home should be his castle. His car should be his pride and joy, and his shed, garage, whatever it is should be his sanctuary, and
Yeah,
that's
wow.
all it's about. You know, if they do that, in that whatever keeps them happy,
You live a
Ford,
good life.
Holden, you're living a good life. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares what you've got? As long as
Volkswagens
you,
doesn't matter, yeah.
And it doesn't worry me. We're here today having a look at it. I like to show people what, because otherwise nobody sees this.
Yeah.
Nobody sees, and you'll do a heap of garages that people will get to see, and you'll just be like, wow, that it might not even be cars. It might be something different that's cars.
Totally,
it just might be something where this dude's got this bar or this setup.
Because a lot of it's about the space, you know, like the space,
about
is,
the space.
and all the little trinkets and things that you put up.
They make the
certain
space.
pictures. It makes your space.
It's
You
not
coming
just
in,
the cars.
it might be, you know, after so many years of doing it, might feel like you know, a second home for you, a garage. You know.
Well, I always say I can walk past my cars, don't even have to drive them, and I smile to myself. You know, that's the only person I need to make happy is myself. I don't need to make anybody else happy. This is a cool thing because you can then show other people what you've got, because otherwise nobody. This will go everywhere, you know. I've got a few close friends that get to see the shed, and that's it.
Yeah.
So this will be something that.
So you're very lucky to be able to see this,
I
see
don't
this
know.
collection.
I don't know whether lucky's lucky, but so this one I was looking for the 2017. So that's when these were done.
Yep.
This is a couple of years after.
So another numbers car. Yeah.
Another numbers car. This is a 2017, and so I bought this with 27 kilometres on it. Some dude had just put it on a hoist and left it there.
27 kilometres.
27, just a delivery. It got delivered. He didn't do anything with
It's not
it.
even off the ship. Or
Hey?
they don't come in off a ship, but it's not even totally off the tow truck.
No, it's now got 300,
Yeah.
or 200 and something. It's a bit under 300 and something kilometres. It's not
Yeah.
many anyway. So all my cars get driven. There's a couple that I haven't got to drive yet because I haven't got them registered.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they all get driven, just not very much. I've got enough that I don't need to drive them very often. But this again is a very cool car. You know, the brakes, the wheels, everything. It's again limited number car. So I try to keep it to something that's unique. You know what I mean? A Premier. The Hudson one of only 13 delivered to Australia. So I always try to keep it into something that was never meant to, they were never meant to accumulate, you know, the value meant to go up as high as what they had. But that's just and then I'll never see it because I'll never sell them. But maybe the next generation will.
Tell us about this one.
So this is an accident.
Yeah, this is an
As
accident
far
car,
as
so it's
accident
not a
goes,
number car.
I rang up an auction house after. This is not a numbers car.
Yep.
So this one, I rang up an auction house and said, "Oh, how did the auction go?" And because I missed the auction, and then you go, "Oh yeah, that didn't sell." And I said, "Oh, I'm on the phone anyway. Just tell him I'll pay this much." And anyway, 20 minutes later, ring back, goes, "Okay." I'm like, "Oh shit," you know. So that was one of those moments, but. But what people don't realise is this is a pigeon paired to the Group A. I already had so HSV only ever made 2 Group A's and this was it. So it was a limited number car at the time and now it proved to be a pretty good purchase, you know what I mean? Absolutely bog stock, original. The tyres have never been off this car.
Yeah, wow.
It hasn't done 30,000 kilometres yet. The tyres are a bit like...
I can confirm they are rock hard. The tyres, they are definitely the original tyres from back then. They got a very stiff feel to them.
Yeah, there's not much grip.
Yeah.
Doesn't get driven in a lot.
Rigid originals.
Yeah.
Wow.
So again, everything absolutely where it should be, never been touched. How I've, again, a little bit different to the other ones because this is in such good condition, but you never have to touch that. You know, it's just a beautiful.
What's it like to drive?
These things are cool because they don't have the electronics and everything. This and the V are just cool because they've got no electronics and they're just a lot of fun. It's a bit of a more rawer car, you know. And obviously the Hudson and the HR, what we've seen, a bit cruiser. And these you can give them a bit. And, you know,
sounds so good.
Yeah, they sound good. And
Twin
they just
throttle V8,
don't go very fast in today's
you know,
market.
around the 6.5, I think, to 100.
Yeah.
They did, you know.
Yeah, so, but
Fast for then. Not fast for now.
Not fast. Yeah, fast for then. You know, they used to use these in all the robberies. These cars, they used to steal them, do the robberies because they could get away from the coppers in them. Imagine trying to get away with coppers in one of their new BMs in this now.
No, the diesel BMW would smoke this.
The copper would be, what are you doing, mate?
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, but it's I don't know. That's a
yeah.
So that was.
To a Holden fan, you know, a VN Group A is a big deal.
I think so. Yeah, any VNs these days.
The wheels, everything, the body kit, you know, the colour, it all sets it. That's, you know, it's
limited number again because they couldn't even sell them.
I'm speechless looking at it, to be quite honest.
Early 90s, they couldn't sell them. They couldn't sell for 500 to go racing because it was 18%. There was really bad times.
Yeah.
And this was, you know, they had to get a dispensation to take this to Group A racing. So yeah, it's good. You know, you can make a story up about anything, can you? But that's just a cool car. They're just a cool car, and you just go. You don't even have to go fast in these cars anymore because they're so cool.
No, it's not about going fast at all.
No, and you don't even see a normal VN on the road, let alone a Group A, SS Group A. So that's the thing, you know what I mean? They're so rare.
They are.
You just don't see anything like it. So
And this VL has a really interesting story.
This is a cool car. So HSV, as we know, HDT finished and then HSV started.
Yep.
And this is their first car. People will debate that this wasn't it, but this was their first car that they built. And this is build number 3. So this fits into my numbers because what we can work out up to the first half a dozen were built in 87.
Okay.
So this fits in with my numbers. So that's why this car is cool. And being build number 3, again, this was bought probably 18 years ago, so it was a long time ago. So
number 3, yeah.
Number 3. So the third car HSV ever built. So it's a pretty cool car. It's again the same as and then you got the 2 Group A's because after that they changed the rules to go Group A racing and
the cool thing from I see is they're both survivors. They're not restored at all.
Not restored at all. I'd say the front bar's been repainted on this one, but that's about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So again, just under 50,000 kilometres. So there's not many kilometres.
This one was around 20. You said something like that.
Just under 30. Just under 30,000. Yeah. Wow. So and the tyres will never wear out now, as you can feel. They'll never wear out ever again. You can skid them all day and they won't even leave a mark. So this car was one of the very first. The story goes in these, you can tell how early it is because the shock towers were moved.
Okay.
Back in the day, they apparently bolted the rear wheels on and they rubbed on the shockies. So they had to unstitch weld it and hand stitch the shock towers in the back of the first half a dozen again. So this is one of those really early cars. So it's got a bit of history. So and
the quirky things on the first model, because you think about manufacturing back then. We're talking like late 80s.
It's agricultural.
These days,
to say the least.
yeah, that's right. It would have been in a shed and they would have been pulling them down, putting them together, like quite literally.
When you read the story of the guy, like to even get them painted to get them out, he had the guy who was running it, the walk-in shop, had to go around, and whoever was doing that had to go around to 6 or 7 different paint shops to pick up all the bits, to put them together. So all of that stuff makes for really cool.
I think it's what makes them cool, yeah.
Yeah, and this one's a really fun.
Hand-built,
Basic, and this is a really fun car to drive. This is really nice to drive, very easy to drive. But
and you always get a lot of looks in a walk-in shop, right?
Yeah, these cars, everybody loves them these days. They were very questionable back when they were, but then that's why that one's so subdued because they said, no, not doing this again. You've got to take all that shit off. You know what I mean? Because this got better aero than that.
They sort of took a little bit off, but
yeah. So this, but everyone loves these nowadays. You know what I mean? They really have matured.
Definitely.
This car. So
yeah, cool.
And where did we go from there?
We can go here if you want. We can just wake around and make our way around.
This
Hudson.
This is just another Hudson. So this is a 37 again, but it wasn't bought as the 37. I already had a 37 in my collection. But this was to match the other Hudson, a couple of Hudsons in the collection, I don't know. But it was just a really cool, it's a cool gangster car. It's one of the cars I've got it running.
30s cars are like, they've got a real,
aren't they?
Hard top 30s cars to me. I love it.
And this car, the headlights, the wheels in the guards, and it's just that look. I love that look. That's really cool. So I can't wait to get this.
And they're quite big too. Like you look at a lot of like 32 Ford Roadsters and stuff. They're a lot smaller.
Yep.
This Hudson, as you can see, late 30s, this is quite big.
It's a good car.
It's a big car,
I can't wait to get this one registered and cruise around in it. It won't be too long. We got it started not long ago.
Horns can let everybody know to get out of the way. On the fronty, they won't shy about hiding the horns.
There's 2 as well,
That's
one for the left and one for the right. So to make sure. So.
Driven this one?
No, that one, like I say, I want to. Yeah. It started, it's running. There's something wrong trying to get the fuel into the.
I'm in love with this car, honestly.
It's so cool.
And the colour, I love the colour.
It's just cool, and again, it's a time capsule. So that
with the tan trim.
Yeah, it's really. And the interior is just brilliant. Yeah, it's a beautiful car. So they're. And some people might have done up that. I don't think that's original trim. I think someone's redone it. Yeah. But the thing is that's how I've inherited it, and that's how I try to just maintain it.
It's around 90 years old, so
Oh yeah, for 90 years old.
The trim being redone, we'll forgive them.
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome.
27.
Yep.
This is my 27. Again, going with the numbers. So this was bought specifically for that. Unique thing about this car, the people I bought it off, they had it as a wedding car. So it came from Queensland. It was just something that spiked my interest. And 27, there's not a lot of 27 stuff that's rare and unique. I got all the paperwork with this car. So this came with all of the fuel, because back in the time there's fuel rations. It came with a letter to the government asking for some more because she lived out of town and she had a long way to travel and she had a sick mum. It's got an interesting history. Like I said, it came with all of the... This has every bit of documentation, like when it was purchased, the insurance, everything.
Wow.
Yeah. Very cool. Just a
27 to 37, you can see the distinct difference in
So when you look at
what
that,
10
and
years of manufacturing did.
so that was my idea. So, and in some instances you see so much difference in bodywork, and then in other areas the bodies will stay the same, but the technology underneath changes a lot. It was never
and
both.
the aerodynamics too, you know.
Yeah, it was never both. It usually was the body or the technology changed in it. So yeah, because you look at this 17 to 27, it's not a lot of difference, right?
Yeah. Not a lot of difference. A little bit, maybe more agricultural, the style, and this is, but you can tell it's slightly got a lot
more refined engine and everything. Even the tappets.
Yeah. Someone's going to kill me somewhere for calling a Buick agricultural. It's not. Didn't mean it in that sense. You know,
someone should drive it. It's agriculture, mate. I've got a tractor out the back that's got air conditioning and everything. So this is agricultural. So even when you look at the technology in the engine from this one to that one, it's a lot different. You know what I mean? You look at this one here and the
wow.
tablets are on the outside. You know what I mean? So that technology changed a lot. Look at the old leather. Leather fan belt.
Yeah, so, crazy, right?
Yeah. And so this one's been driven just on my farm.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, my
You've seen the water pump there too, the way it works with the front gear.
Yeah. So my daughter was walking alongside and said, "Can I hop in?" I'm like, I'm trying to drive that, but that's how fast this car goes. So she could walk just as fast. I don't know why she wanted to hop in, but yeah, trying to just climb my driveway a little bit. So
Australian delivered car.
This one is,
Yep.
I try to buy. Most of them are, you know what I mean. The Hudson 1 of 13 delivered to Australia, you know what I mean.
Okay,
so most of them.
Wow.
That's a Holden bodied, you know. So
right.
So the Dodge is Holden bodied. So it's got Holden stickers inside.
Yeah.
So so nearly. I'd love to sit an 07 next to it. And that's where I sort of tap out. Before that, you get into penny farthings, and I'm not into riding. I want something to drive me. So, but that Henry Ford type era of mass-produced cars is where I think he was just a whiz back in the day.
To have a 1907, a 17, a 27, 37, 47, 57, 67. 77. We're going to get there in a second.
We're going to go there in a second.
We're going to go there in a second.
And I've got two Ford GTs. People always think XY GT. I've got two of the newer GTs. A Cobra and the EL GT. So
wow, I love the EL GT.
Yeah, they're three colours.
They're outside. We might have a look at those after.
We'll have a look at those soon. Yeah.
Sweet.
So let's go to the 77, shall we?
Nice bikes.
Yeah. So this is my son's grandfather's bike, so it's just been fixed up, just about to get it registered as well. Just a really cool old keepsake. So it's been in the family since. He will. He's really.
I grew up riding bikes like this on the farm that I grew up in. Chasing.
He's doing 40-foot dirt jumps. And so anyway, and a little Italian stuff here. So I love the Italians are always good at they've been good at cars since God was a boy. So this is just the cool little 67 Vespa Scooper. There you go. There's another 7 in there somewhere. Make the numbers work whatever way you want.
That's right. 77.
Yep, 77. So fitted in with the numbers.
Yep.
But a little bit rare again because it's A9X. So
tell us how this car came about.
So this, basically the numbers I was looking at that time. All I do is reduce my search in my search engine to a number, to a 77 or whatever car I didn't have. It's not a bad way to do it, you know what I mean. And then looking for and then you'd go, well, I've already got a red car, I've already got a blue car, so I wanted and then what colour would, and this one was just this is probably I never thought I'd pay that much for a car back in the day, and I always thought that would be the only car. It didn't matter because I wanted it, but I thought maybe you'd never see that money back, and then everything's gone, as we all know, in the last couple of years. So I bought this probably close to 10 years ago.
No, you don't.
No, and I don't care.
Yeah.
Because I'll die and then someone else will make all the money, so it's not gonna help me, is it? So these are, but again, just a really cool Australian muscle car.
Yeah,
so
totally.
You got from the gangster to muscle to.
Where did the car come from? Is there a
come
story?
from Victoria?
Okay,
So different cars that come from different places. I remember the ELGT. The guy, it was Adelaide. I drove all night to go get it, and that guy actually cried when I loaded it and when I drove off. So, a lot of the cars, I remember bringing the 27 back, and I took a picture of it and I said, here, it's at home, it's with all its friends. And the dude just rang me up and said, I can't believe you sent me that picture. And so I try to have that, I buy the cars off pretty nice people most of the time, send a picture, and he was on the phone.
They're coming to a very nice place for a good life.
I think so. This is a nice paddock. It's like an old racehorse, right? You go to a nice pasture, I suppose. It's a bit like that in some ways, and they get, I think they could be better looked after. I'm a bit time poor, but but they get some attention.
What's it like to drive? It's a beast, right?
Yeah, this is cool, you know.
Yeah.
And this one here, you know, you get people just scream up to you to give you the thumbs up, you know what I mean? Again, even
It
more,
is
you don't
such
see
a good colour combo, you know.
anything like it. I love that. A lot of people hate that yellow. I love it. It's a beautiful colour. And this one again, so I've got all the original parts. So it's got a Rochester carby and it's got a different exhaust and it's got the hot wires. But again, they lowered it. They put a lot of people got these factory fitted, the hot wires, before they got it delivered to them. So you know, it's still
got the mags, the other ones that came with it.
Yeah, I've got all the other stuff, but again, this is how I inherited it, and whether it changes to that, you know. So.
And manual and stuff like it's so good, you know.
Oh yeah. It's good. Yeah,
so
it's a good car to drive. Good fun car to be around. So yeah.
37.
The 37, yeah.
This is the actual 37 one that year.
This is the actual one that was bought. The other one was an accident. This one wasn't. So, and the numplate again, plates and cars and everything. 4-door 37.
It's the first Ford we've seen so far in the list.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yep, there you go. So yeah. I love this car. So this is the first Ford with its headlights in the guards.
Yeah, okay.
So 36s had the headlights out of the guards, you know what I mean? So it's plenty cool. Flathead V8, just purrs like an absolute kitten, and it takes you everywhere you need to go. The older cars, you know, it doesn't go too fast. It doesn't go, you know.
I'm just looking between the 37s, like all these would have been at car lots back in the days, next door to each other. You know?
And then they went to the wrecking yard, and then so this one's in pretty good condition. You know what I mean? Really good condition. It's a cool car, and all these older cars, you just have to find that point where the car. And one of the guys from my old car club said, you'll know when the car's running perfectly because all the sounds just calm down. You know, they're still there, but they just calm down, and that's your point. Where the car's perfectly suited, you know what I mean? It might be 40 kilometres or it might be 60, you know, some of the cars 40 kilometres down a hill with a tailwind, that's it. That's it. But so yeah, this was bought specifically for the numbers car to show the 37, but that goes. My two sisters used that in their wedding party. Yeah. So that was pretty cool. It's been a really cool car. Just
you drive it here and there.
Cruising. That's probably the second most driven car in the older cars. It's a very easy car to drive with a flathead V8. It just runs, just purrs. You got the suicide doors. That's why it's a good wedding car.
Yeah, wow.
So easy to get in and out of, you know what I mean? So suicide rear door, I should say. So yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
It's very cool. I like the bench seats in front and back, obviously. This year car had It's just blows your mind. And again, compared to today's cars, where it's all
right.
So
and you look at that progression all the way through to the other cars is very is funny. The cool thing, push button start.
Yeah. Okay.
So back in the day, you turn your key on and your starts here.
I see a very special car here.
Yeah. Probably the cheapest car in my collection.
I see the trophies in the background, but one you built yourself.
This one, yeah. So this, I love cars and I love building stuff as well. Just the challenge of actually doing something like that. And obviously there's a whole nother video that we've done together on this car. So it was a very cool car. My old man owned that from new, and it was just something that evolved into this. I never knew.
Work truck it was.
It was a work truck. He used it as a work truck, then I used it as a work truck, and then I cut it up and turned it into a show car.
And when did you get the thing where you lying in bed and you went, hang on a second, I've got an idea?
I have no idea, actually. That's a really good question.
Yeah.
I have no idea how that came about. I thought it was there, and I'd probably got another car at the time, you know what I mean, upgraded, and that one was there. And again, I told you the story, you can't sell a car. So
God of Auto, Salon, Best of Breed, Motor X, it's like, there's really not an award it hasn't won. Yeah,
so I'm a Grand Champion and top Judged Elite. So some of those trophies, Grand Champion's pretty cool because you've got to drive it to get it. But Top Judged Elite is pretty cool too because, you know, the best
Grand
show
car.
car.
Very cool. Like,
there's some cool trophies in there, but God of Auto Salon.
Yeah, Auto Salon, Motor X and Summernats, it's one or more.
Yeah, and there's not many cars that go through all that.
I'm not sure there is a car that's one or three, really.
One or three,
I think this might be the only one.
Yep. So
Auto Salon, Motor X and Summernats.
Yeah, so... Yeah, there you go. I'd never think about it like that, so... Yeah. I think that I could buy the piece of plastic a lot cheaper than that cost me, but...
What year model is this? This is
1990.
Okay.
Yeah, 1990. So yeah, that one's and I love it. You know, what are you ever going to? It just sits there as almost a showpiece. Yeah. It's too nerve-wracking to drive. Yeah. It is registered, but... You know.
And the amount of power, how much power is it again? 400?
400, it's 300 kilowatts, 400 horsepower, whatever it is about that.
Yeah.
Ute like that, 4ZE. Well, I mean, they make so much power these days, but, you know, this is just...
But for 16, 17 years ago when it debuted,
Yeah,
That's a
right.
lot of power
We were
back
cranking
then.
out a bit on the dynos. Yeah, it took us a
Yeah.
while to get it sorted, and I remember the day that I got it sorted. Whoever was doing the dyno, because he thought it'd make 100 kilowatts, we'll make 150 kilowatts, and then all of a sudden we banged out
Right.
300 and something
Yeah.
kilowatts. He's like, "Oh, the owner's got this one
Stand
sorted."
up and take
I
notice,
remember
yeah.
it. Yeah, so it's a really cool car. I love it, but hard to drive because it's just so. There's paint everywhere.
Yeah,
And,
it's. I think it's best left.
bit of a showpiece.
Well, it's a moment in time. This car, it represents an era of, this generation of when that modifications were.
Well, Auto Salon doesn't exist anymore.
It
So,
doesn't, no.
and that was huge back in the day. And I built it to go to Auto Salon.
Yep.
And just so happened that we had enough crossover. Went to Vic Hot Rod Show, made
Yep.
top 5 at a hot rod show,
Yep.
for God's sake. You know what I mean? So I got a top 5 hot rod, and it's not a hot rod, but they can appreciate it. You know what I mean? They really can. So, yeah.
I'm getting Stelvio past vibes. Italy,
This is,
Lamborghini. How did this come about?
how did this one come about? I don't know. Some stuff is just an accident.
Yeah,
It
late
just
night
turned
day
up.
or something like that.
A friend in Sydney rang me and he said, I got a car you'll like. I said, oh, okay, no worries. And he sent it to me. I'm like, nah, that's too much money for that car. And actually, it's a super rare car because it's one of 3 delivered to Australia. So it's a lightweight, all carbon fibre interior and everything. So it was a really cool car. So just one thing led to another, and it's just a fun car, It's different again, You go from the muscle cars to the street machine cars to the gangster cars and classic cars, and this is just another thing again, So. It's another few, the supercars in the collection here are owned with my father because I figure it's better to own 3. So he pays for half of them and I drive them.
Hey, man, this is the best deal ever.
Yeah, it's a pretty good deal,
We're
isn't
going to
it?
hear from your dad in a moment. He's going to give us a bit about, because he's raced quite a bit, your dad too.
He loves racing. He loves cars too, and
Yeah.
that's where I got it.
Yeah.
That's where I got the obsession of everything for. So, just a cool car. It's built a bit backwards because the arse end of that car is always trying to get past the front end of that car. So I'm not sure what that's about, but I think they built it backwards. But we deal with it. A little bit of steering input.
MP4 12C.
This is a funny story. So I knew this guy because in Sydney, the guys that sell Lambo, McLaren. Oh no, sorry, they don't sell Lambo. They sell Aston, McLaren, and everything. When we got this one in, we imported this directly. The one the old man's going to talk about, and that came in. So we got a relationship with a dealer in Sydney, and then this guy here I started talking to, and we built a building. That's what we do, we're builders. So we built a building, and I wanted the McLaren orange. So, and I'd been up there and I looked at this car and I said, I want that orange from a building. And it was a really nice guy. I usually don't send you a colour or the number and everything. They keep them fairly guarded. He goes, no, don't worry. I'll send you the colour. He goes, go on in an overnight post bag now. I said, oh. I said, and how much would you sell me the MP12 for? And he goes, I'll work out a price for you. Anyway, rings me back, he goes this. And I said, all right. He sent me the colour swatch, so I bought the car. And we painted our building in the McLaren orange, and we bought the McLaren yellow car. So very clever, very nice car, very refined, probably the quickest thing we own.
I think it's a really important supercar because McLaren's now become this, they were a very successful motorsport brand, and now they're a very successful car manufacturer. As well, and this sort of really launched a lot. I mean, you can talk about the P1 and stuff, what a marvel that is, but this
launched them to do the mass market more stuff, because the
totally.
other one was very, and they do
full
two
carbon
things.
tub,
Yeah,
was it one of the first cars?
This is so cool.
The first carbon tub, something.
Yeah, full. But before mass, again, the P1 had it, but this has got it for mass manufacture.
Yeah.
So, but the coolest thing is they make F1 cars and this. There's no SUVs,
that's right.
there's no this, there's no that. They just do that.
Maybe,
it's a really,
they might. You never know.
They might. They didn't. They don't today. This is really, really smart car. For it. So they reckon when you lose this on the road, they reckon it's gone. They bin it because you can go so fast because they're so smart. They stick so well. Even the tail's an air brake. It comes up every time you put your foot hard enough on the brake. It looks like a yellow car's it's going to run into you because this tail. All you see is this big yellow thing turn up in your rear vision mirror. And so they're so smart, but they reckon once you do lose it, you're miles off the road. So.
I went in the 720S once, and that was nuts enough that I was.
So this makes people sick. You can drive so fast, and it steers like a little go-kart. The last person I had in this had to sort of stop, and he loved cars, and I made him sick. It just is so responsive, and it made him sick. Motion sickness for the absolute. Wow. Like I said, that thing similar vintage. You know what I mean? And this is just so much cleverer.
This Aston, we might hear from your dad on this car because you were saying before that there's
He's the reason we got it.
a whole story.
Yeah, there is, you know, racing in Europe, and these things were all sold out, and he raced with the outgoing CEO of Aston Martin at the time. They won their class, and they only made 100 of these cars, so this is a super rare car.
Full carbon fibre.
Full carbon fibre, it's very cool. We might even start this one for you later. This has got cool V12 and naturally aspirated, so it's got nothing to quieten it down. And we took it to a racetrack not long ago, and they black flagged us for the noise. Street registered car. It's really obnoxious noise.
V12. It's such a compact, you know, call them supercar advantage, really. But with a 6-litre V12,
it's absolutely massive. So you look at this, and in any normal car, this would all be covers, right?
Yeah.
That's the inlet plenum.
Yeah.
Because and they're missing the bonnet by, you know, it's not a cover. It's the actual plenum. It's jammed in there, man.
I imagine some things are engine out if you were to, you know, in this model of car, if you would ever to.
I'd hate to think about that. Yeah, you'd just drop it all out in the bottom. Yeah. So hopefully we don't have to do that. So.
No.
This was, if you look on a video, Chris Harris. You know the guy Chris Harris?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So when they test, this is the car he test drove.
Wow.
So it's one of those cars. It's one of the 4 media cars, and,
Okay.
and how we ended up with it was just purely because Dad was in the right spot at the right time when he won that
It's
class.
an amazing car. I mean, Aston Martin has so much racing heritage, but the fact that your dad then raced Aston Martin, which we'll hear from him in a second, and then got this car.
Yeah, we still had to pay. He didn't get it for free.
Oh.
He didn't race that good. If he'd raced better, he would have got it for free, wouldn't he? We still had to pay him.
We might hear from Peter now. Rodeo, I'm here with Peter. Peter has a lot to do with this Aston Martin. Peter's also Darrell's dad, and you've done a bit of racing yourself, mate.
Yes, we've done lots of racing all over the world, so it's been... I've had a blessed life, actually, so it's been pretty good. So I've met a lot of good people in the motor racing side of things. So
How did you get started in racing?
So I started with the Mitsubishi Mirage,
Yeah.
in the Mirage Cup. I went to Wakefield Park one day, and I was actually, I didn't start racing until I was 40. I was 40 and I just wanted, must have been midlife crisis or something. So anyway, and I saw it and I thought, geez, that'd be a lot of fun. So I bought one and had a ball.
That's the Cyborg ones, right? They used to race them in the series back then?
Yeah, that was a good series. So, yeah. So
I see a lot of, watch the footage, I've seen a lot of the bumps and they're always
we had a few
tailgating
bumps, yeah. Because it was a one-make series, it
Yeah.
was really close racing, so it was really good. But I learnt a lot from that, and from there I never won the championship. I came second in that championship,
Yeah.
so it was a pity. But but it was.
And where'd that breed from? That when you went, right, I've got the bug for this now.
Yeah, I got the bug, and so and then we thought.
And you must have been pretty handy too, obviously.
Oh, I don't know. But anyway, I sort of I could drive. So, but at the end of the day, then we sort of Mal and I mulled over. Geez, I wonder what it'd be like to go overseas. And then Nürburgring come up, and so we ended up taking the Mirage to Nürburgring. So we won our class there with that car.
Wow.
And then where did we go to from there? We took the V8 supercar there. So we gradually built up. So and we had a pretty good following over there. And then we went to Spa with the V8 supercar, Malaysia with it. So we won a lot of races. Oh, Dubai. So it was good fun.
What's Spa like? Eau Rouge, that's pretty...
Fast and scary. It's just, yeah. So because you can... That wall there, you just see the wall all the time as you're going up because there's one slight mistake and you're in it. You're just in it. And so many people hit it. So
Yeah.
And when we were the first time we were there, he said, "See this spot in the wall? That's the one spot you don't want to hit because everyone hits it." So it was
Stick away.
So we just but Spa fantastic. So Nürburgring fantastic. And then from there, then we were approached by Aston Martin, so we started racing with them. And that's how this thing eventuated, right? So 2015, we sort of were into it in an N430. So, and this particular car, this exact car actually, was sitting on a stand and just as a display. So it was brand new. And I walked in there and I thought, geez, I like that car. It looks so, and I thought, I want that car. So I approached the boys and they said, no, they're all sold. I said, bullshit, they can't be all sold. So we won Nürburgring that year in our class, and I flew back home.
Yeah.
And about a month later, they rang up and said, "We got a car for you." I said, I said, do you still want it? I said, absolutely. So, and then blow me down, I go over to have a look at the car. They give me the exact car that was there,
Wow.
and it's the number 1 of 4, which is a full carbon fibre car.
Wow.
So, yeah, and just, I
mean-
couldn't believe
I mean,
what I got.
look at it, it's very special.
Oh, it's, yeah.
I always admire that the Vantage, they put the 6-litre V12 in.
And
it is a quite compact sports coupe, you know?
It sounds so good.
Yeah, yeah.
It just, yeah, you can hear it for miles. So, yeah.
If we're lucky enough, we might get to hear it at the end of the video, so stick around.
All right, let's go through to the workshop.
Yeah.
We'll have a look.
Let's go, yep.
On the way, so this is my number plate wall. So this, you might have seen some on cars and stuff. So these all have come off something. A lot of them are Summernats. This one happens to have my picture on it. Yeah,
There you go.
my
There's
Summernats
boosted.
picture, which is interesting because in 2010, you know, this is for Summernats after. So I won 22 and you were on 23. But after that, they didn't put the car on the plate. This is the new plate. So Summernats 24 didn't have the Grand Champion. All the way before that had Grand Champions on it, but not that.
okay.
So the last one with Grand Champion on, 25, 26, and again, I've entered every one.
Single
since.
one, yeah.
Yeah. So they all run up the wall. But this is my dad's first 3-digit plate. So I've known this since I was a little boy. He had this before maybe I was born or when I was born.
Okay.
Before I can remember. This is his first ever plate, 3-digit plates, and some people who are plateies know that sort of thing. They're sometimes they're a bit of a collector's thing these days.
Yeah.
So he had 954. My first ever plate was 549. That was my first plate I ever bought, and then all the plates. So my dad's got a
They're
big
really
collection.
hard to get number plates, right? Number plates.
Yeah, so
Just like-
I bought one last night
Yeah, okay.
at an auction house, and it's a lot more than I bought this one for, but I
Okay.
got 5 in a row, so for 17, 18, 19, 20 and 21, so I got 5 in a row.
How
So
could you not get it?
of 3 digits, so and obviously I've got where's my 57 on the Hudson? They're not all up here,
ACT
but
plates are still silly money like New South Wales plates, I guess.
not as silly, because population drives it,
Yeah.
but not as silly, so they're
New South
still
Wales. I follow a couple of these number
$250,000 for a 3-digit New South Wales at the moment, minimum, and then they go up from there
What would
depending
a
on
two number be worth?
a couple of mil, 2.5, I think.
And a 1 number? How many could there be? I mean, 9.
There's probably 9,
Yeah, there's probably 9.
But yes, good one. We'll cut that later, won't we? So I reckon that's up at 5 plus, but only a guess. You know, they usually
Million.
change 5 million for
For
a
a number.
single digit. I'd say, yeah. That's my number plate obsession. You know what I mean? Even the SV.
Yep.
So that came with the SV 99. So that was his plate because number 81. You know. So
Yeah.
yeah. So and some other little bits and pieces.
Pretty
So
good.
yeah. So this is the workshop. This is where the magic happens. We've just come from and I put a big glass window to show motivation. That's what that should look like one day. So
Prep in here.
and then it gets sent to the
Yeah.
green pasture.
That's right.
Yeah. So it's something I'm working on at the moment. It was always a dream of mine to go to the Riddler. I think I'm too old for that now. And I see
never say that. Mate.
I see a lot of cars now that have just black stone chip underneath. It's a really cool way to do things. So you can still drive them again. We talked about boosted and how
like
hard
a
that
Raptor
is.
coat. Yeah.
Yeah. So this may yet end up like that. That's more of a driver.
So it's an FJ Holden.
FJ Holden shell
Yep.
with 35 GTR running gear in it.
Yeah, Nissan
So,
Skyline.
Yeah. So rear mounted sequential box with the V6 twin turbo.
Yep.
Engine up front. So I'd like to run the full drive. So it's all running full drive, and you can see I'm at chassis stage at the moment.
You were saying to me as well earlier that you're going to turn it into a two-door as well. It's slightly widened.
Yep. So the body's in the spray booth. So at the moment it's not being sprayed. It's just stored there.
Yep.
So it's been sectioned,
Yep.
chopped. We're going to move the pillars back and make it a 2-door. So it'll be stretched. It'll be 300 mil wider overall. So 100 in the body and 100 in each guard. And it'll be about 100 mil longer.
And that way you keep the wheelbase exactly how it was on a 35 GTR.
Correct, yeah. So I don't have to mess with axles or anything like that. So we'll run the GTR wheels, axles, brakes, because they're such a good package
Well,
anyway.
what a car to be to drive, like.
Oh, it should be cool, you know what I mean? And the thing is Holden and Nissan go together.
Yeah.
They always have, you know what I mean? Yeah, well, not always, but
true.
you know, you go.
It's like a different take on a VL with an RB.
So yeah,
I love the table though and the vision you've got for it. Like it's all set up. It's.
I had
And
that
these
made.
you think you run these wheels?
Yeah, I'll run the wheels as well.
Yep.
I think it'll be really cool.
Yep.
You know how cool those cars are. They're a cop
Yep.
car anyway.
Yep.
And the FJ is probably the most. I chose the FJ just because it's probably the most recognisable Aussie car. You know what I mean?
Without a doubt. Yeah.
You know, effigy and all that
Without
sort
a
of
doubt.
thing.
Yeah.
So,
FJ Holden is.
Yeah, so.
You know.
And then we've got there's a 47. So always with cars, we talked about this earlier. There's cars and things going wrong. So its engine, it's looked like spun bearing. So the engine's just about to come back for this one.
This one, yeah.
Yeah, and we bought a mini. We call it a mini boosted for my son. So my son's just about to get his license, and this one came. So it's SR20 bagged.
Yeah, I was going to say I can see the pump.
Painted and trim and everything. So we're just working on that one at the moment to get it on the road. Yeah, but someone started. It's never been registered, so it's a pretty cool car. Someone did all that hard work, and then life got in the way, and they sold it. So.
I love that. I love that. Out there is like where they just relax, and in here's where they get worked on.
Yeah,
so close to each other, the vision through, and Yeah,
it's a pretty nice.
Having the spray booth handy as well.
Yeah, one day. It's not. I've never had to use it yet. Yeah. So, but I hope to be able to use it for some stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So yeah. So again, and that's the 47.
The 47. Yeah.
Number plate 1947.
I can see the 97.
Yeah. So here we go. So here's the 97 and the 07.
Yeah, right.
So these two cars again, low kilometre cars, both under 30,000 kilometres, and both just. And you got to think like, how good did they do?
Yeah.
How good did they make that?
I love the ELGT.
I would love an EV GT though. Those three, for me, a lot of people like the XYs and everything, and I do. I love the shape and I love that car. But these are just, for me, these are my era, you know what I mean? These are what I saw racing around Bathurst. So these are the cars that I love, and that's what it's about, you know. It's not what everybody else loves, it's what I love. So yeah, I'd love an EV, just have the three of them in a row. I think they're really cool cars.
And it's the number thing, 97, 2007,
Yeah. So this is my son's car, so my son, he was born in 07. You know what I mean?
There you go.
There you go.
What year did Boosted debut?
What did it debut?
06 maybe?
Yeah, it would have been.
You could have waited a year. You could have went 07, you see?
No, it was. It was 07. He was a little. He was a baby.
Oh, there you go. 07.
He was on the stage when I was collecting. I had him in my arms on the stage when I was collecting trophies. So yeah, it was. It won. It must have won 07.
There you go.
Yeah, so that must have been when it won. They'll be on the trophies down there. We'll have a look in a minute.
What's this like to drive, this EL?
It's like a grandfather car. You know, it smells like a grandfather.
Yeah.
You know, some of them smell like dead bodies.
But so the Tickford motors in these sounded really good. Like.
It is. It's a cool car. And Tickford, Tickford just isn't even. Isn't even a thing anymore. So and the Cobra.
Well, they're a race team, aren't they? I think.
They're still a race team, but you can't buy a Tickford car anymore.
No, that's right.
You can't buy. These cars are still. What do they call it? Race on Sunday, purchase on Monday. You know what I mean? These are still those cars that sort of faded out heavily after these. Especially after that car, after those 90s, they never did that anymore. The Cobra was a remake, and they did some stuff, but you can't buy race cars on a Monday anymore. Not that they, the old.
It's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a bit of a shame. Yeah, they change them so much, man. That's the times are changing. These are perfect in every way. Low kilometre, and they smell like they should. They drive like they should. The only thing I've done to the...
I can still smell the HR of the memory.
Yeah. You should stick your head in the Bentley. It smells like dead bodies. It's awesome. It's the exact smell it should be.
I'm here with Brody, another generation into cars. This is your ute that you've been working on. I hear it's got bags and stuff. What's the plans?
Look, just have a nice street car, to be honest. Be able to, instead of Dad's boosted, not be able to drive it around because it's too done up and nice. This one actually be able to take it on the street and take it for rides around and do all that sort of thing in it. It's got an SR20 turbo in it, so hopefully could do something with that, make a bit of power, have some fun.
Yeah. You think you'll cruise or maybe enter some shows and stuff?
I don't know about entering shows, but certainly cruised around, like go around in Summernats, but not enter it into any, elite haul or anything being judged, because it's not going to be that nice of a car. It's just going to be a, nice cruiser.
Yeah, use it a lot. What other cars are you into, I guess?
Sadly into supercars. They're a bit expensive, but anyways, maybe one day.
Yeah, that's
hopefully. Right. I mean, dream car is probably like a P1 or something, even if not Koenigsegg, but they're huge amounts of money. So
I've always got to start with a dream, mate, like everybody. So
exactly,
That's right.
I like the JDMs too. They're quite nice. I somewhat classify that as a sort of JDM car over anything, but even muscle cars. Any cars are cool, but certainly the supercars are my favourites.
What's it like going out with Dad in some of these crazy, because you don't have your licence yet, but only a few more months, but what's it like going with Dad in some of these classic cars and stuff like that?
It's awesome. I enjoy it. I always encourage him to take him out. He wouldn't take him out as much if it wasn't for me, I don't reckon. I'm always like, okay, I've planned this. Can we take it out there? Can we do this? Can we do that? And always convince him to take it out.
And you can pick the right car for the right moment.
Exactly. I'm like, all right, I reckon we go through the tunnels tonight through the city. I reckon we take the Aston for that one. It might sound nice.
too good. Or, you know, also the Torana as well. Sound
Oh,
pretty good
exactly. It's
tunnel.
awesome. My girlfriend's dream car is actually a Torana.
Yeah, there
so
you
that
go.
was funny that. And
Well, when
so
you get your license in a few months, you might be able to take her out on a
possibly,
date.
imagine that. That'd be awesome, eh?
In an SLR 5000, you know, it's going to happen soon. Well, good luck with your build, mate. We want to see
Awesome.
that you continue the passion that's no doubt trickled down through the family. We spoke with your grandfather, Peter, your dad, and everybody's just into cars. But what you can't see just off shot here is this FJ with the GTR running gear. There's a lot going on.
Oh, certainly. Too much.
Make sure
for me
you
to
keep
handle.
everybody motivated, mate, and keep the passion and the family for cars going because it's good to see.
Yep, I'll try my best.
No worries. Going for a drive to get some lunch with the boys in the EL GT. All this car talk makes a man hungry.
What about we go start some up?
That's good, yeah.
What about we start some up? Let's go do that.
What about we go 4-cylinder,
We can do that.
6-cylinder,
Yeah,
8, 10, we'll finish on the 12.
we could do that.
Just before we do the startup, we thought we'd check out some of these trophies. Call it a trophy wall if you like. It's pretty full.
It's Booster's Lovo wall.
Yeah.
Really, that's all it is. So none of the other cars have won these trophies.
God of Auto Salon, Best of Breed, twice.
Twice, yeah. We won when they invited us all back as well. So, yep.
Really great to see the car this year at MotorX as well.
It was a good show.
Well, last year, this year, last year.
Every King of Auto Salon, and all the trophies. I mean, they were all at the time. It was hard work to go to all the shows, but it is really just a piece of plastic. But it's a time in my life when I really enjoyed, had some really good people, and just had a fat time going to every single show. You know, everything. It only did probably a dozen shows, and this is what you
Even
get.
a pair of thongs. You won a pair of thongs.
No. They were a friend. They're the limited edition McLaren pair of thongs.
Oh, really?
No, you got them. It's the guy that insures all my cars at the time.
yeah.
He said, these are limited edition pair of McLaren thongs.
McLaren thongs.
Yeah, so there you go. So,
There you go.
Everything in here has a story, you know what I mean? This little guy here was always in my work ute back in the day. So yeah.
you
The
go.
Summernats 21, the champagne, you know, it's never been touched. I love these. I use this doubles as a drinks. So you put your glass in there and you can drink out of it. We worked that out when we won it that night. You know what I mean? So it's a all of these things. You know, we had a great night that night when we finished God of Auto Salon.
That's a special trophy, yeah.
Yeah, Top Judge Elite sitting in the back there, so pretty special trophy. So a lot of the trophy combinations, because of the type of car it was, it could cross over from Summernats to MotorX to, top 5 in the Vic Hot Rod Show, you know what I mean, which is pretty good effort in a hot rod show, to make it for a high-tech tuner to go to a hot rod show. So
you can see the car sort of has hot rod vibes though. Like you can see
it did. It was always meant to be. It was always meant to be have a broad appeal, and Summernats is my home event, so I'd had to go to Summernats, of course.
Of course.
You got some swords there.
Yeah.
And where it probably started. So this made Hot Fours back in the day before it ended up being the car it is today. So I chopped it up and redid it. So probably should have just left it, but wouldn't have all of the accolades.
4, 6, 8, 10, 12-cylinder startups. We're going to start with boosted 4-cylinder with a big turbo on it, making 400 horsepower. Six-cylinder. We're going to start up at 6. Whisper quiet, I'm told. Oh, listen to that. Like butter.
Smooth as silk, eh?
Smooth as silk.
You don't even know it's running.
The drive's as
This
smooth
is like an early electric, it's like worse than electric car. You don't even hear it coming still.
8-cylinder. We're doing the VN Group A. Here we go. Oh. Twin throttle manifold.
That does sound better than you think,
Oh,
doesn't
it sounds so good. We're doing all the 8 cylinders, that's it. Nothing like a blown V8 in the morning. Is it morning still? Oh no, it's afternoon. Ready? shed in my life.
We're getting a bit of a smell in here, aren't we?
Seriously. Cool. We'll give it a go.
You just want to hear this.
I just want to hear every car. Every car. It's like,
Are we doing this for me now or for you?
we're doing this for you, yeah.
For the people?
For the people, yeah, not for me.
See, that's why we moved to the Chevy. So smooth.
Mad.
Twin turbo. Still V8.
Twin turbo. Twin turbo, V8. Oh my God. Electric cars. Put them in the bin, mate. Put them in the bin. Open the clouds and take me now, I'm done.
The arse end of this is always trying to overtake the front end of it, so that sound is always in front of you.
Oh, there. V12. V12. Did I say V12? Man, I got a new one. Why don't we start them all up at once?
There's some fun stuff in here, eh?
Yeah. That's it. We want to thank Darrell for bringing us here to show us his amazing collection of cars and his amazing premises. Doesn't build itself. It's taken time, no doubt. And
Yeah, it takes a lot of collecting of little bits
Yeah.
and pieces. It's something I like to, it'd be good to share with other people
Yeah.
because a lot of people never see this sort of stuff. So it's
Inspire
nice
people to
share it.
build their own collection, you know?
Absolutely, yeah, if they can. I love it. I love going to see other people's stuff,
Yeah.
It's just really cool.
Too good. All right. We'll see you later. We've done a one cylinder as well. We've done them all. How we look, Jack? Good?
Sorry. How do
Fix
I-
me, you're right.
What do I do?
You all right? You
Look like a
just chill.
shag on a rock.
You just chill. Me too, don't worry. We got 1 cylinder, 4 cylinder, 6 cylinder, 8 cylinder, 10 cylinder, 12 cylinder. Many cylinders.